Hey, this is Alex from Graysand, and in this video I'm going to show you how to build a timber partition wall frame for a security storage section of a garage. The timber studs will be exposed and painted white with security mesh fitted to the timber frame and front gates. The aim of this project is to create a safe lock-up storage section in the garage. If there is only one tip to take away from this video, it is to mark and place the bows of the timber facing the same way in a stud wall. To get the project started, I'm first going to apply 2 coats of white paint over all the framing timbers, as this partition wall is going to be exposed with security mesh attached to it. I then use a laser line to mark the positions of the frames on the wall and floor, while also checking the concrete for level. The stud wall needs to be completely straight and plumb for the security mesh to be installed easily. In this project, the frames need to be set up perfectly to take the sheets of the mesh. I'll then cut the framing members that include the plates and studs. Pick 2 straight pieces of timber for the top and bottom plates, cut them to size and then mark out the stud positions. The studs will be set out at 500mm centers with a double stud centered at every meter to join the mesh on. I then cut all the studs to length and lay them into position, making sure all the bows are facing up the same way. I use a nail gun to shoot the studs through the top and bottom plates. Then for an extra secure fixing, I add a couple of 100mm bugle screws into each end and into the center of the frame. Make sure the face of the stud and the plate is lining up flush before nailing. Once the timber framing is fixed together, we stand the first wall frame and place into position, fixing one end to the existing wall. This partition wall needs to be installed 100% straight, level and plumb. Basically it needs to be square. If not, the steel mesh that goes on the outside will not line up with the studs set out. The next step is to repeat the process for the second frame. As this is a 9-meter wall frame, we're going to build and connect 2 wall frames together to achieve the desired length. Once both frames are upright and connected, we will add a metal angle inside and out of the top plate. This will keep the top plate straight and rigid, as it's quite a long wall frame. Once the 2 frames are stood and braced plumb, I'll fix the bottom plate to the concrete slab with screw bolts. I'll make sure the bottom plate is straight and level by using a laser line and string line. I first bolt each end of the frame securely to the concrete slab, making sure that the frame is set out square. I then knock in and nail each end of the bottom plate of the frame and tie a string line to run along the bottom plate of the frame. To ensure the bottom plate is straight, I set a string line 20mm from each end of the frame and then drill and bolt the bottom plate to the concrete every meter or next to every double stud. I use the string line to adjust the bottom plate straight before drilling and bolting it to the concrete. The laser line is also useful to help pack and check the bottom plate is being fixed completely level. In my experience, I've found adding water to the holes helps the screw bolts fasten smoother. I screw the joints of the frame together with 75mm bugle screws, and I'll also go through and screw the double studs for extra strength. Once the bottom plate is bolted straight to the concrete, the next step is to attach the security mesh to the timber stud wall. We screw the mesh to the wall using these metal widgets and screws. As long as the wall has been set out with the studs lining up with the joints of the mesh, it's a pretty simple process. As we've made the wall to be the correct height for the mesh and the double studs are set out so that the mesh lands on the double studs, it's only a matter of lifting the mesh into position and screwing it to the wall. The next step in the project is to knock up another small frame that will be attached to the front of the project. This wall will brace the front of the frame and it will also function as a frame opening for the front gates to swing from. This front frame is connected to the 9-meter wall, the concrete slab and the block wall for added strength. And in the next video, I'll show you how I built and installed the security gates at the front of this project. This front wall will brace the 9-meter wall frame and allow me to remove any of the temporary bracing, and allow me to measure the gate sizes that I'm going to build. Okay, that's the first stage of this project almost finished. To stiffen the 9-meter wall, I add a 50mm by 4.5mm steel angle along the top plate inside and out to stiffen the wall plate. Using this steel angle removes any need to add any timber bracing to brace the top plate. In the next video, I'll go through how to build and install the security gates. Alright, that's the end of the video now. I hope you got some value from this, and thanks for watching.